Chilling. What are y'all up to?
Just just make sure the audio is on point this time.
Oh,
Yeah, let's get that detail right.
oh,
'Cause
okay. So
it's
you guys are telling me been missing the audio. I know. I saw the comments as well. Been disappointing, but the producer said they'd be better this time. Yeah. So
I don't think the audio should go from my mouth to your computer setup and
yeah.
then through your speakers into your mic. I don't think
And
that's the
boys,
ideal way of doing it.
boys. Episode 9. Little preview for the countdown. Enjoy the countdown. We'll see you on the other side. Who is excited for week 9? Boys, it's a pleasure to be back with you another week. Episode 9 for us, week 11 in the NFL, because we need breaks too. Before we get started, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Methodist, again. Shout out to you for the pods. Boys from Houston supporting the Houston hospitals. We love it. All right. Before we jump into all the juicy stuff last week. All right, boys. Keith, Matt, introduce yourself for the folks that may not know you. Over to you, Keith, first.
Test 1 2 3. Mic check. Sorry, I just want to make sure it's still working. Audio is still good.
Ha ha.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Keith. My team is collapsing. I'm known for stuff like that, so not looking good. But yeah, founding member. Excited to be here.
Matt?
My name's Matt, and I kicked Keith's ass last week. It was awesome.
Spoiler alert.
What a transition, Matt. You are a natural at this. What we've got up on the screen for everyone was the premiere matchup from last week. And which one of you would like to address the outcome here?
Matt, you can go first.
I'm actually Kyler. I'm K1, season high. Ryan, shut your ears real quick because he took the Jets to Pound Town and put up a season high 30.7 in our league. It was awesome. He's on bye this week, and I picked up Big Herb. We'll get to that later. But Keith was talking all that trash.
Whoa, what
all
was that
that
talking trash? What was that talking trash?
You've never lost a trade, parentheses, this year.
Fair.
And
I still haven't lost a trade this year.
yeah,
we'll get to that. We'll get to it. Let's.
You still didn't win last week, so.
Fair.
Keith, any words would you like to address on the matchup here? What happened?
Matt went 12 personnel, and it did not work out well for him. Had I gone 12 personnel like I thought I was gonna do, if Tank Dell, and this is a real thing, if he was actually going to be hurt, or if they didn't clear him a little bit farther ahead in game time, or if there was any questions about it, I was going to put Hawkinson in and run 12 personnel like I promised I would on last week's live stream, and that would have won me the game. I was at work. I wasn't able to watch the 12 o'clock games. I wasn't able to watch actually any games until the Sunday night game when the Texans lost. But, just watching the score, Jaden Daniels game, Commanders against Pittsburgh, 28 points and only 9.5 points for the quarterback. Makes no sense. Yeah, I'm on tilt. My team's on tilt. Doesn't make any sense. Although I did get the top 5 win. I think I was third scorer.
You both were
in the league. So it's not horrible, but it's pretty depressing. Going into Monday night, I think I needed 12, somewhere between 12 and 13 from Kyron, and that doesn't happen. Yeah, that was extremely disappointing. So, Matt, hats off to you. 2 players averaging 30 points essentially each. My whole team essentially in the teens. Oh, I should have won that game, but that's okay because it doesn't matter. I'm about to lose to Munger this week.
Well,
and
hold on. We'll get to
my
there.
whole season's going down the tank.
Hold on, Ryan's got to say something.
We'll get to next week, okay? I'm not gonna let you off this so easy with addressing last week. I'm gonna take a dig at you for first talking so much smack, saying you go 12 personnel, don't back it up. You deserve the L. But what you both don't deserve, and I'll pass it to you, Matt, in a second, but what you both don't deserve is if you look at the scoreboard from last week, boy, were there some ugly low scores. So you both deserve the top 5 win, for sure. That's not in question. I like seeing 2 teams show up and perform on an ugly week. Matt, over to you.
Keith and I made a suicide pact at Kirby's ice house. That we were going to go 12 personnel. And I was the only one who followed through. And I started Dalton Kincaid. And he started off very, very strong. And then he got hurt and was out for the rest of the game. And he ended up with 3.4. But Keith backed out, only played Kittle, didn't play Hawkinson. Should have. Like, we had a suicide pact, and he would have been in a better position to win. But I think the summary of my week is my team put up season highs on Keith. Kyler, season high. Bijan, season high. James Conner, not sure. I'd have to look that up. Pickens, season high. And I got stinkers from Brian Thomas Jr. Ladd did whatever. Trey McBride did whatever. But God, I just love my team so much. I love my team, and he sucks. And he should have played 12 personnel. We made a suicide pact, and he backed out.
Well,
I was Romeo. He was Juliet, and he didn't take the suicide pill.
Well, you guys are both looking pretty. Like, I'm gonna pull up the standings here for everyone. I mean, is it a coincidence that the 3 or 4 of us are in the top right here? Is it a coincidence that of the three of us, Keith is the one off the podium? I think not. The fact he's above over 500, I think he's really feeling good, and the team is running out of steam. Keith, maybe another poor trade with CJ for a top 5 running back for a borderline flex player will help you out.
Look, okay, I've been paying attention. I don't think you have. Pull up James Cook game log, please.
Everyone on the line, that was James Cook for Reed, the wide receiver, straight up. Let's see, last week, 15 points on 19 carries. The week before, 10 points on 10 carries. The week before that, 27 on 17 carries. Looks like he's getting double digits.
5.3, 16.9 by or hurt. No, injury against the Jets.
But you knew that when you traded him.
He's got 2. Yeah, but I would have done it regardless. He's got an under 10 points 2 out of the 4 weeks. Look at his carries. Top 5 running back, and he's averaging, quick mental math, he's averaging what, 15 carries?
15.6 points per week. 15.6.
He's a type 5. He's position ranked as 10, you idiot.
Well, because he missed a week.
You said he's the top 5.
He is a top 5 going forward. All right. Well, moving on. I digress. We can talk about this rest of the season, but
okay. I have one last thing to say. I was disappointed, obviously, with the loss, but reassured with the fact that my team is actually coming through and all around scoring well. I was really hoping to walk into this week with a freaking Munger bye week. But I think this is just a short couple hiccups, so we will see. But overall, I would say the low scoring was pretty reassuring from everyone else. And everyone's team, minus maybe like 3 or 4, looks pretty terrible right now. I don't know how we're doing it, boys, but we got some bad fantasy teams out there.
Okay, so let's put a bow on last week. Okay, my matchup with Stafford, I had a big performance from Burrow to start the week and never looked back. It also helps that Stafford followed trend of the rest of the week and didn't get off the bus. So, yeah, that was a pretty easy win. The 116, the fact that I had all my players done by the end of the noon games. So I knew 116 was the score to beat. So I got to say, the low scoring for the rest of the weekend was kind of cool. Felt good there. Stafford, tough, because it had an opportunity to really give himself some space. I believe he took the double L. So he was at 11-7. He's let some other competition back in there. I'm going to run through the CJ and Brett one, and then I'll pass it to you guys for some comments. CJ had an opportunity, again, the middle of the pack. We'll get to that standings, but we got the ticker at the bottom. You'll see that it's kind of bunched in the middle. CJ barely won. Lucky he was playing Brett. Actually kind of like Brett's team. Kind of looks nice on paper. I don't know. I'd hope he misses the playoffs. And then
I got one thing to add real quick. That is the battle of my trade partners. Amon St. Brown, Sam Laporta, James Cook, just sitting there. There's more guys involved.
It is.
So I just want to throw that out there.
And
So
then I got
both those teams
Harrison.
look familiar.
I love how much we trade. I mean, honestly, that's a great staple of our league. All right, and the last two to round them out, new guy, 0-20. Impressive. The
Yeah.
fact he scored 72 was kind of big. He was close to almost the average for the bottom five. Huge for him.
He
JP,
had
boy.
Nico Collins sitting in the starting spot. And he was out, and I was like, why didn't he switch someone out? He had one other startable guy. Like his whole team is hurt too. It's crazy.
We'll pull it up on screen for the folks, but he has also 7 droppable guys. So, like, I don't know. Yeah, he's not even using the IR spot, guys. He's got 2 options, and today's Thursday. Nico's been on IR for a week. I mean, for 3 weeks. Okay, and the last one, I mean, you guys really talked about your matchup real close. Matt, I'll go over to you. Put a bow on last week for us before we look forward to next week. And a little preview for everyone. Don't forget the 3 favorite segments online. Matt's hypothetical standings, Ryan's fantasy facts of the week, and Keith's questionable take. Those to come. Matt, put a bow on the week for us.
Boy, oh boy, was I sweating Kyron Williams Monday night. But my fantasy team is known for great defense, especially on the Sunday night game and the Monday night game. And we had some great D. Parentheses, no Bruno. Great D though. Great D.
Well,
but
thank you for that nice bow. I'm going to save you, because we're going to talk standings at the last. I'm going to save you for the last segment. Keith, are you interested in doing your questionable take right now, or you want me to go and take it from here?
No, let's do it. Let's do the questionable move of the week.
Keith's questionable move of the week. Take it away, Keith.
All right. So last week, in who was the matchup? Munger versus Old School's got to take down the Goliath, the man sitting up top, and Pat. And he just had 23 points, 22.9 points from Calvin Ridley just sitting there on the bench. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players at 7.1 points or less. And his go off guy, his all or nothing make or break gamble is just sitting there on the bench. AKA what?
Calvin Diddley.
Calvin Diddley.
The artist formerly known as Calvin Diddley.
Oh, I love it. They traded D-Hop. Not sure which week it was. But essentially since then, and the benching of Will Levis for a little bit, he had 8 targets, 9 targets, 15 targets, 8 targets, and 9 targets last 5 weeks. 2 of those have bounced for almost 20 or over 20. Again, you're playing the number 1 guy in the league. You just got to take your chance and play your gambles. And that was a gamble. 5 catches, 84 yards, 2 touchdowns. This is a gamble that could have paid off. So that is my questionable move of the week. Other than me not going 12 personnel.
I love that you self-evaluated.
What an idiot.
What an idiot.
What an idiot.
I have one more question move of the week.
Let's pull it back up. Go ahead.
John almost got outscored by 1 player on the opposing team. I think the questionable move of the week is John even setting a lineup. Yeah, I think that's enough said.
Well, I mean, if you're just going to do it for me, let's get into Ryan's fantasy fact, because that transition, I mean, was admirable. Because if you really look around the league and you think, who would make a good walking statistic for 3 weeks in a row? It's our resident doormat. And no, Keith, I'm not talking about you this year, buddy. I'm talking about John Alexander. For those that have been on the pod, you'll go back to episode 7 whenever Keith started talking about The statistical prowess, the improbability of him going 0-20 is impressive because if you were trying to do that, it would be almost impossible to do so if you were at least setting your lineup. He's doing half of that. He's showing up, sometimes setting his lineup. But John, 0-20, bottom. And here's the best part about it. I'm going to zoom in on it for the screen so everyone can see it nice and big. The best part about it is that he says his son would do better than him in this. That his son picking players, but they're cut from the same cloth. They've got the same genetics. I think his son and him may be the luckiest person. They just need to flip this thing upside down. So, honestly, John, great doormat. It's been fantastic. Everyone gets to win against you. I was checking my standings 3 weeks ago to see when I got to play you again for 2 wins. So love you and thank you again. This is my Ryan fantasy fact until you win it or it's not funny anymore where you literally just like have no pulse. All right, boys.
I have a bounce back week with him next week.
Yeah, you looking ahead too? I think everyone has to look ahead to
but
see when they play
he's
John.
gonna beat me somehow though.
Yeah, with that attitude. Okay, what we're gonna do next? We're officially turning the page. Okay, we're gonna look at next week. And Keith, let's go to you first because you are they're not only next week, you're living it right now. We had some chatter before we hopped on the pod about how you're feeling about our other doormat, and Munger not so bad as he used to. What's going on, Keith? Good defense or bad offense?
Well, let's be honest. Munger hasn't had a single player play, right? So the probability, the win probabilities, all this Watson crap, it doesn't matter. Now, all that being said, I out of what is it, a final score, Philly 26, Commanders 18, and I have three of the four, eh, three of the five best fantasy players in Jaden Daniels, Scary Terry, and Antonio Brown. Sorry, Antonio Brown, AJ Brown. Um, and
I would
to walk away in the hole, three of the five, and I've got 26 points. That's not good. What do you have to say, Matt?
I want to do Matt's fantasy fun fact of the week is that JP's team, Jalen Hurts and Saquon scored 53 together. That's my fantasy fun fact of the week.
Fantasy fun fact of the week for Matt.
Our team, but weak bench. They're going to fall apart in the playoffs, hopefully.
JP's starting Travis Etienne.
He's hustled his way with Myers and Tillman, though. Those are good pickups. And Etienne eventually is going to get that job back. I've been trying to trade him Bigsby ever since Bigsby started showing up, and he won't give me anyone off his bench. I wanted Myers. That's what I was targeting a couple weeks ago. Okay, so Matt, anything else from you? You have any thoughts on Keith's matchup?
He's probably going to lose. He sucks.
Okay. I have more.
Let's go.
Kyron Williams, Kareem Hunt. I mean, Kittle's potentially hurt. Jaden Reed, Juwan Jennings potentially hurt. I mean, I've got guys that can play, man. I got Hawkinson, might go 12 personnel. He's starting Taysom Hill. I mean, come on, dude. Like, what is DeAndre Swift even doing? Okay, he's been decent. He's been pretty good. I take that back. I don't know, dude. He's starting Calvin Diddley against me. Come on. I gotta win this. I gotta win this. Okay, if I can get let's say this. With that weak start, I'm probably not gonna get top 5. So I really need to beat him. Say I luck into a top 5, but don't beat him. That'd be a win, I think, at this point. But man, I got John coming up next week, so I'm pumped for that. I've got to finish as at least a 3 or 4 seed. If I fall 5 or 6, that's going to be so annoying. If I don't make we're not going to get there. We're not there yet. We're not in full tilt.
Wait.
Let's look at the standings.
Keith, finish that sentence.
The Sullivan program does not miss the playoffs. We missed the playoffs in the first 10 years of this league, and then we were rattling off playoffs every year. We got a Super Bowl. We got championship appearances. We got first-round exits galore, but we do not miss the playoffs.
Matt, your response?
Your week's not terrible. Besides Scary Terry.
Oh yeah, one of my best players going 1.5 points. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, you can rebound from that, but
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right, next matchup. I'm done talking about my team.
Well, Keith, I want to finish it here and put a bow on it because we're showing the standings. You're in 4th. Mm-hmm. The slide has been real. Mm-hmm. You're 3 games back. You're already 4 games back after your start because you're not counting top half. Are you scoreboard watching Stafford and JP already?
JP has got 60 points with his 2 best players,
so you're already
Jamar
tied.
Chase is going to match that, so he's going to have 120 points between 3 guys. So no, I'm not watching JP's team. I said like 4 or 5 weeks ago, I thought JP's team is the best in the league. Freaking Old School's team is absolute garbage. How is he at the top of this and JP is near the bottom? It does not make any sense. Matt, your team stinks too. Ryan, JP, best teams in the league. It's not even close.
We've got Old School's team up on the screen for the folks that are watching, just so you can see what we're talking about.
Gross. Look at that team.
Keith, I've got 2 really good points to make. Keith, how did that loss feel last week? Because it felt great for me. Secondly, I had the pleasure of watching the Thursday night game last week with Old School, and he was so pissed at every Lamar rush, touchdown, everything. And I kept telling him, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. And of course, he was totally fine going to a 2-0 week. But Keith, your team is slipping and sliding. Kareem Hunt, Pacheco got designated from IR yesterday, I believe.
I'm not scared. That's fine.
Okay, so
Kareem Hunt's going to get the touchdowns.
Sure.
Is this podcast just about my fantasy football team, or is it about the whole league?
Well, you're relevant. You're relevant. Finally. All right.
Finally.
Well, we've looked at the standings, the real standings. We've looked at next week's matchup. I mean, we've just talked about JP versus CJ. Already, this is looking like a JP win. I mean, that's a huge start. Tough for CJ. At least the top half finish gives him a chance. Brett versus Stafford. I'm rooting for Brett. Because I just want to make the playoffs, right? Even with my good standings, you never know how things can fall apart. The last thing I'll say, Keith, you and Mung, good game. Rooting for you guys both to get 6th and 7th this week. Matt, you saw the standings? We are all been clamoring. The tradition like none other. This is the 9th week of our podcast. This is the 5th week of the segment. And this is what people in the chat just want to hear. Do you mind giving it to him with Matt's hypothetical standings?
Yes. I will, for the first time this season, put myself at number 1. I know my points for are not on par. I think I'm 5th, 6th in points for. Doesn't matter. My team's it's straight winners. All we do is win. We play 12 personnel. We run the ball. We run it. We're 1 running back injury away from tragedy, but we'll figure that out. Well, it's not going to happen. So we'll figure it out. Old School, still number 2. CMC is going to go off. It's crazy. I'm scared of him. I hope someone knocks him off in the playoffs. Sneaky. Okay, hold on. Let me think about this. JP and Ryan are tied for 3rd and 4th. Y'all own that. I mean, Saquon and Jalen Hurts putting up a 50 burger between themselves, 50-plus burger tonight is unbelievable. Ryan's got Jamar Chase, best receiver in the league.
Burrow.
And Sleepy Joe Burrow, who's amazing. And then this is probably my hottest take of the week. Keith is now in the clump of mediocrity, which is 5 through 8. And then we still have the 2 bottom feeders, the 2 losers, which we're not
Matt, Keith has raised his hand. This is the first ever on the podcast. Keith?
Moderator, I would like to make a comment.
Yeah, please.
Let's hear it.
So Matt, you are doing quick observation here. Fifth in points for. I'm fourth.
Okay.
So I'm not too far ahead of you. I was at one point, I think I was like second, or I was first at one point. So I'm sliding
Sure.
right there.
After week one, sure.
Yeah,
Not
after
a big,
week one.
Not a big sample size.
You are a solid 63 points behind the next closest person in points against. You are, in fact, the best defensive fantasy football player in this league. So I understand why you put yourself at the number one ranking. That's how you rattle off 5 wins in a row right there.
We got great D.
You must have played John twice already.
No Bruno.
You played John twice?
Somebody has. He's played 10 games.
It's not me.
So somebody's played him twice.
I played him once.
It's not me. I've only played him once too. All right. Keith, can you just finish that? Who's in first for points for?
First was. Oh, you can sort it. Oh, God dang it, Ryan.
Can I so much. Wait? Can I say something too?
It's me.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan is catching me without K1, who I'm cosplaying as right now, without James Conner, and Trey McBride.
Wait, I thought that was Kyler Murray on this live stream this whole time. Oh man, you had me fooled.
Oh, we just got off Call of Duty together.
Oh. Well, Kyler, we're gonna finish this podcast now because we're at time, and I just want to say, as a Jets fan, it is such an honor to be 15 years running to knowing that my season is over and we're not at even Thanksgiving. I'm very thankful that at least I got to November this year before rooting against my team to actively end it. But you know what? There's no more doubt because of your performance and your teammates on the field. You officially killed the Jets. They are grounded. I am anti-winning. I am back to my roots where I belong. And it feels good. What doesn't feel good is that normally I always need Clemson to win, and that's always a sure thing, and the Jets losing, so it feels a little weird now. But again, Kyler, thank you so much. Now, Kyler, I'm going to let you respond. Keith's got to get last word because, Kyler, you've been shutting down the podcast every single week, and we need Keith to put the bow this week for us. So, Kyler, any rebuttal? And then over to Keith.
I want to know who has Braylon Edwards, and then my last thing that I want to shut it down with is CJ. I'm going to text you right now. I need Mike Evans. I need him. I need him.
You've been doing that every week. Yeah, you would be good with Mike Evans. All right, over to you, Keith. Take us away.
As disappointing as it was to lose last week, as disappointing as it is to start where we're at right now, that Monday night game, the fashion that all went down. There was nothing more disappointing than that Sunday night game, second half. The Texans, oh come on, baby! If the Texans were able to turn around and I lost every fantasy game the rest of the year, this season is a success, baby. But we have got to look better in prime time. We got to finish games. That was such a strong start, and we just blew it. We blew it. 5 picks, 5 turnovers. That's crazy.
0 points in the second half hurts really bad.
That's what happens when Tank Dell's your best receiver. So they're getting Nico back. Come on.
Nico back. We're fine.
I know.
I know. Do I think
my fantasy team's fine? My fantasy team's fine as well. That's the thing. Okay, I don't want to be fine. I want to be great. That's the problem. I don't want to.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I gotta
get out. I gotta get out of the lump. We'll get out of the lump. The Texans will get out of the playoff. We need to be back to Super Bowl contender. And right now, we're gonna make the playoffs.
Well, it's the best shot I have of having anyone that I don't hate win in the playoffs this year. So I'm rooting for the Texans.
Oh, wait.
Yes.
Ryan, I've got one more point to make. Stafford, in your face, Stafford. I bid $7 on Justin, a.k.a. Big Herb, and you bid like 4. So that sucks for you. You gotta start. You gotta start Patrick Mahomes this week. It's too
bad.
All right, Stafford, you have to start Patrick Mahomes, and you're going to like it. And on that note, thank you all for watching episode 9. We will see you after another fantastic week. Congrats on everyone's